Hello, YouTube. What's up? I'm back with another video today. Sorry, I have been fighting illness the last week, so I don't know. It's been too much to really do too much of anything. Like I just went back to work yesterday. I haven't been working a couple days. Like it was pretty bad. Or went back to work today, I should say. But yeah, I wanted to kind of just continue I don't want to kind of. Today we're going to continue our video on the house series. Bear with me because it's taking a lot of mental strength right now. But I just need to do something other than lay in bed and sleep all day. So, like I said, we're gonna continue our videos, our house series video today. We did the first and the second house. So today we're gonna talk about the third house, which is the house of Gemini, ruled by Mercury. The third house is a Cadent house. So remember, I talked about in the first house, you have the angular house, which is kind of like it sets the tone. Then you have your succeeding houses, which kind of follow up. It brings the values and things like that. Well, the things that you identify as the succeeding houses bring the value to it. And then you have your Cadent houses, which are basically like houses that kind of just make sure make sure the houses before it are kind of mingling. So it's like the mutable signs are just like the signs that kind of understand both sides. I guess that's why people love Geminis, because people say Gemini is a two-faced, but it's like Gemini just understands this side and that side. I have a Gemini moon, so I literally, when people come to me with conflict, even if it's a friend of mine, I'm like, I hear you, but I'm thinking, what logically could have made you feel that way, and not just what are you telling me? That's whatever, so anyway, like I said, we're gonna talk about the third house today. So the third house is obviously the house of communication. Mercury is the planet that rules communication. Is Mercury the fastest traveling planet? I think Mercury is the fastest traveling planet. If I'm wrong, these lights are killing me, bro. Hold up. Oh man, if I'm wrong, let me know. If not, shut up. Who cares? Anyway, Mercury, I believe, is the fastest traveling planet. So, depending on what sign you have in this house, specifically where you have Mercury at, could describe how information gets processed to you, how quickly you spread information, things like that. I have Aries, Mercury in Aries, so it's just funny because I don't have this in the third house. I actually have it in the ninth house, which is its opposite house, on the opposite side of the spectrum, the house spectrum. And it's just funny, yeah. Anyway, so like I said, it's ruled by Mercury, house of Gemini. Gemini's ruling planet is Mercury, so Gemini is a mutable sign. One of the signs, it's an air sign. It's a sign of intellect, a sign of deep friendship. It's a sign of relation. Gemini, I think, is the sign that everybody loves to be friends with, because it's just Gemini's not have a good time. Literally, it's the Gemini's ruling house. Well, Gemini's house is it's the third house. Yeah, I'm tripping. What am I talking about? Never mind. Anyway, my bad, y'all. It's I have a migraine, but I don't, so I'm trying to just go through it. Anyway, so yeah, this is a house that kind of just, again, this is a house of communication. This is so like I said, you have your first house, which is your first year of life. It's kind of just, who am I? What is this world? Who am I? Everybody's just, oh my God, you're the whatever. And you're okay, whatever. Your second house, goes over your values. And it's just okay, I like this, I don't like this. Okay, I like this, I don't like this. Once you start to figure out what you like and don't like, the next step are the people, the places you go, just the vibration of life that you attract I would say like the third house is a house that is predicated on like vibrations and the vibration you carry with you, not throughout life necessarily, because vibrations can change, but if you're somebody that like lives like, let's say like you were young and you had like a very chaotic upbringing, if you never learn to transmute that or just escape that energy or get away from that type of energy, that's just going to be the natural energy that you carry amongst you in life, is always a chaotic state of energy. Like people with trust issues, for example, something can happen. Like we all can develop some type of trust issue. It doesn't have to be relational, romantic. It could be like with a parent. It could be with a friend. It could be something at school. Somebody could promise you something and like doesn't come through or whatever. But like if you stay in those vibrations, it can like be negative in a sense, as opposed to somebody that's like always, not always, but somebody that's more so on the up and up with life, happy about things and whatnot. They're more likely to have a life that's just like, or live a life, quotations, that's like positive vibrationally. Yeah. So so yeah, like I was saying, your vibration is key for this house. Just because like how you want to go about life. Like I said, if you're somebody that wants to live a very chill life, you're gonna surround yourself with chill people, place yourself in chill situations. If you're somebody that's thrill seeking, you might be somebody that's more willing to like cheat on somebody, for example, or you might be somebody that's willing to do something that could get you caught, but like you'll try to obviously avoid getting caught because you just enjoy like the thrill of it, things like that. For example, like if you have, I don't know, let's say you have Leo in this sign, you might be like somebody that kind of likes to paint themselves in a good light, more so. Like you'll find ways to always have people talking about you, or make yourself the topic of conversation, or like you'll place yourself around people that just naturally feel inclined to accept you for being this perceived notion of who you think you should be in your head. That's just one example. This is also a house that kind of just like talks about like what's important. Well, not talks about, but like this is also a house that like is really big with your day-to-day life. So it focuses on your one-to-one interactions, your where you're going at as far as like day-to-day travel, transactions, things like that. So like I said, it's opposite of the ninth house. The ninth house, if you know, long distance travel, like higher intellect, things like that, versus the third house, where like I said, it's the beginning of the house, beginning of the chart system, beginning of the house system. So like it's your early education, it's your early family relations, early childhood friendships, parental relations, like how you got to school, for example. Like depending on what you had in this house, you might have been somebody that was fortunate enough to be driven to school versus somebody that had to ride the bus, or who you might have walked to school because you didn't have either circumstance or something like that. Like you know, the third house, like I said, deals with that day-to-day, just every day, like how we go about things. Like for example, I have Libra in the third house, so I'm very like, I do find myself very just like in between like things I'm doing. Like sometimes I would get rides to school, sometimes I would walk to school, sometimes I rode the bus growing up. I did kind of all three growing up. Even to this day, I still walk to a lot of places. I'll still might ride the bus. Sometimes I'll get a ride, Uber. Yeah, you know, so like it is what it is. Like I said, it still carries over till today. And it's funny because like I've always been somebody that's like, oh, I like to not have too much of one thing. Like I like to have a good amount of everything, so you can never oversaturate something too much. Like I said, this house also is the house of communication. So how you, like your environment, for example, can kind of determine your communication style when you get older, or just how you progress through life. Like, for example, if you are somebody that grew up in a house where it was just like, oh, you know, you speak like this, men speak like this, or like, oh, you know, it's not proper for a lady to curse or whatever, you can carry that throughout your life depending on like what obviously is in this specific house. So for like example, like if you grew up like around like a mom who like cursed and belittled you and just, oh, you know, you suck and blah blah blah, I gotta go into the details, you might be somebody who can be a bully, for example. Like you could take that approach into the school system, or you could take that approach into your family, or you could just, because bullying goes beyond school, you could bully people in life. You could be somebody who always feels like their voice is bigger than other people's. If, for example, like I have Libra in this house again, so like I'm very not diplomatic, but like kind of diplomatic when I speak to people. Like I'm never like trying to override people, but it's like I still like to, it's like I like to let people know like I'm listening to you, but it's also just like when I'm speaking, like I'm speaking, it's cardinal energy, like you hear me on top of everything else. We only got to get into it. Leo rising. Just kidding. Just kidding. Yeah, like I said, it determines your communication style. And again, that's just like predicated on Mercury. Like I said, Mercury is the fastest, correct me if I'm wrong, traveling planet. So imagine like, depending on what you have in this sign, like if you have Pisces in this sign, for example, like you probably not are, I don't want to say you're a great communicator because you could manipulate with that placement. But if you have like Aries or fire sign in this, for example, like you might process things so quickly, you might not have time to necessarily, you might not, like for me, for example, I'm always somebody who, I learned so much, but it's like trying to talk about it, like even doing this video now, like I got all this stuff written down and I'm like, pick your point, go on a tangent, whatever. Don't forget the point, go to the next point, things like that. You might be somebody that's like an Aquarius, for example. You might have Aquarius in this house, and like you might have Aquarius, Saturn in Aquarius or something in this placement. You might be somebody who, and that's like it's home too, that's crazy. You might be somebody who just understands like, you might just have the perfect way to always like communicate to people. People might always feel like you know the right things to say. You always have the right answers and things like that. Like I never would have thought about it that way or whatever. That could be like Saturn Aquarius, for example. Yeah. And then I guess one more thing I kind of did want to talk about with this sign, with this house too, is just how we learn how to talk also is kind of related to this. So it kind of ties back into our communication style, but it is just funny because like I wrote down, like I was reading some articles and it was just funny because I was like, I never thought about that. Like how we learn how to talk is kind of related to this house. Like how we, for example, how we go about flirting, how like we approach small talk, how we approach like speech-like settings, group settings where like you gotta talk in front of people and things like that. Like where you have this, for example, like whatever you have in this house, for example, can kind of enhance or make that a lot harder to come out per se. So I just think that is funny. Like for example, you can have Aries in this house and you might be somebody who like the way you flirt is by insults, or you might just like say the first thing that comes to your mind, but like you obviously mean it in a harmless way, but it's like you're just somebody who naturally, it's like that. I gotta say the first thing that comes to my mind. Like I also gotta try to present myself in this way or whatever. So like yeah, that's just funny. I saw that and wanted to kind of talk about that too, but yeah, like I said, if you made it this far, I appreciate you. I am not feeling well, but like this made me feel a little bit better, but like my eyes are killing me right now, so and my mouth hurts. So like I said, if you made it this far, I appreciate you. This was the third house. house of Mercury, house of Gemini. Shout out to all of them. Shout out to the Aquemini, all the air signs. Let me stop. I'm just kidding. If you made it this far, I appreciate you. And we'll be back with the 4th house. Shout out to the Cancers, fire. Not fire, but cardinal energy. Back with the angular houses. So till next time, I'll see you guys.